So just a real quick preface to this video, I just want to say this video is going to be very random. That's because it's an idea that I came up with at like 11 o'clock last night, and I said, hey, let's do it because I don't have any other ideas. So while I'm on the topic of video ideas, feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments. I can't promise I'll do them, but I'll at least take a look at them. So with that being said, today we're making just a really over-dramatic sword. And what I mean by that is I want the world to go absolutely crazy when you hit something with this sword. I want it to stimulate like all 5 senses. I'm talking particle effects, I'm talking sound effects, I'm talking I don't even know what yet, but it's gonna be incredible. So I guess the first thing to ask ourselves is what kind of sword do we actually want this to be? So we have our classic array of swords here, and the obvious choice would be netherite or even diamond, but I have to tell you, I think gold swords look absolutely sick. And if you disagree with me, well, too bad you can't talk to me. Now, the first step should probably be to enchant this sword with some kind of enchantment. In fact, you know what? Let's just go ahead and enchant it with all the enchantments. And we could do that with like an anvil or whatever, or even with the /enchant command. But if you want to get really high level enchantments on an item, you have to apply the enchantments by modifying the data of the sword. So unfortunately we can't actually modify that data of the sword when it's in my inventory, so we're going to have to put it into this here chest and modify the data of the chest. Alright, so here we have a nice command written out which will hopefully modify the data of that chest to imply the enchantments. And oh, look at that. Sharpness 10, Fire Aspect 10, Looting 10, Knockback 10, Unbreaking 10, and Mending 10. Amazing. And you'll notice I went for all level 10 enchantments instead of anything higher. The reason for that is you can actually go higher, but as you can see, instead of saying that cool Sharpness X, it says Sharpness enchantment.level.11, which just, it doesn't look as cool, I gotta be honest. So we're sticking with level 10 or below. While we're modifying the data of our sword, let's go ahead and put it back in the chest to give it a fancy name. Alright, this is a very long name for the sword because I wanted each character to be a different color, but to do that I basically just had to input each color manually. So I'm really hoping this is actually going to work. We run the command, there it is, sword thing. It doesn't look quite how I expected, but I am a-okay with that, because I'm not going to redo that. Alright, this next part is guaranteed to instantly make the sword that much better. If we go in here now it is in fact a cool sword, which I don't know if you've heard, but that's pretty cool. Anyway, I think that's enough just adding random text to it. We could do that all day long, but I want to get into some more interesting things. So obviously, the first thing we're going to want to do is detect when the player actually hits something with the sword so that we can do cool stuff. We can actually create a scoreboard objective, which if we put this on the sidebar so we can see it, we can track how much damage we're doing with the sword. Alright, so we have that set up. We just put in a simple tell raw command tied up to our damage score, and then we reset the score, so now if we go and hit something with the sword, wow, we are so cool. The other nice thing is I've set it up to only do it if we hit it with our sword thing. So if I hit it with this stake, which is somewhat like cannibalism, but not really, it does not give us that message. Adding in a few more commands, I think the next thing I would like is a big particle effect. Alright, we've set up another command. This one, in addition to checking the player, I actually want it to do it at the entity being hit. So what we can do is we can find the nearest entity that has recently been hit, using this target selector, checking for its hurt time being equal to 10. I suppose there's like a small chance that something could take damage from an unrelated source at the exact same moment as I hit something, but given how unlikely that is, this is a pretty good solution. So as you can see, we're getting one color of particle effect right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and add in like two more colors. Let's go with 2 more colors, and I'll check back in a moment. Alright, here we go. I've added in a few more colors. I've also actually had to turn down the number of particles because before it was like it wasn't actually showing them all because of how many there were. For our next up thing, I'm thinking it's time we start looking into sound effects, which we can accomplish simply with the play sound command. So I think we're gonna go for like an angelic choir vibe here. So I've selected the note block harp sound effect. And, you know, filled in all the stuff that no one cares about. The one important thing is the pitch. I have it playing 3 times, each at a slightly different pitch. So if my vague music theory knowledge holds up, this should play a pretty nice sounding chord now. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's a little bit high pitched. I'm gonna go in and add a few notes sort of on the lower end of the spectrum too. So let's see though. Actually, that sounds nice. It sounds much better with the full range of notes. It does not sound like an angelic choir, but then again, this is Minecraft, so I don't know what I was expecting. Alright, so we've got our chat message. We have got our fancy name. We have got our particle effects and sound effects. Now, I think it's time for us to become like true demigods and shape the very earth around us. So I've set up a few clone commands, pretty simple actually, and I'm hoping if I hit this guy, it's just gonna erect a massive monument that is a dedication to our incredible effort of slaying that zombie. It's pretty simple. We're literally just cloning this thing onto any monsters that take some damage. So, you know, we can just be setting up monuments left and right. This one is kind of killing me. One last thing I want to do with this, I want it to make like a sign somewhere in the middle here, which tells everyone of your great accomplishment. And I'm hoping to make it so that like it'll actually say your name and, you know, a few other pieces of funny information. Alright, I have absolutely no idea at all if this is gonna work. I'd say about 50-50 honestly. Let's just hit this creeper and take a look here. Nope, did not work. I'm really not sure why, right? But I'm using sort of the selector text argument, which lets me pick like a player name. And if I say @s, which should mean me, it does not work. But if I say @p, which similarly means me, but not in quite the same way, it does actually do it. So, you know, that just means we have to do things a little bit differently. And it's not quite ideal, but we can make it work, I hope. Okay, well, I've tested part of this, but not the whole thing, so hopefully it's actually working. But if we do that, yeah, here Henry Cat struck down zombie. Amazing. It's a little bit messier now. There are some, you know, once again, like very specific scenarios in which it would do the wrong thing. But for the most part, it seems to be working. And I believe that should actually work on just about any monster too. Like if I hit this skeleton, once again I spawned in the thing, but if I come out here, it'll say I struck down that skeleton. So, this here actually is, I was gonna show you guys, wow, look at you could do it on a wither and get like a really cool monument. But actually no, this is sort of what's wrong with it, is that it doesn't quite work the way you would want it to. There we got struck down wither for a second. But the thing is, since we can't directly target like the proper entity, it's occasionally getting just like these item entities that are lying on the ground. I really don't know why it wasn't working with the @s selector. It's a little bit weird that it still isn't working entirely properly, but I feel like that's the kind of thing that is not worth worrying about all that much. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, despite these somewhat strange glitches. Also the somewhat strange video to begin with. I sure had a lot of fun making this, so that's pretty great. And hey, if you enjoy watching my videos and you want to give me suggestions about what to do next, please let me know. Like I said, if I don't take your suggestion, it's not because I think it's a bad suggestion, it's just because honestly there's a solid chance it's just because it would be too hard. But either way, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.